56% are trying to drink less on dates in 2024. A lot of them do say it's about saving money. I don't know why. Why are you trying to save money? All the press releases are that the economy's crushing. I mean, it's crushing. Why are you trying to save money? The economy's going great, right? When the press releases tell you one thing and people are telling you another, it's like, I think I'll go with the people on that one, right? 65% of young adults would prefer a date over a date involving alcohol. Well, here's my thing. I think it depends on the date. I really do. If we're just going to go to like dinner and maybe a cocktail, break the ice. If we're going to be active on the date, like if you're going to take me to do something interesting, then I don't think you need the booze as much. I don't know why I have an indoor like rock climbing wall thing as like what's coming up in my mind about going out on a date, right? It is, if you're doing an activity date like that, which I think is a good idea, get people out of their comfort zone a little bit, as long as it's somebody who can handle maybe being not being great at something in front of somebody else and that. But you know, there's a reason why a lot of those podcasts you're doing something else, like, you know, the stupid, let's eat these hot wings and ask Conan O'Brien stuff, right? And it's because you're trying to take people out of the comfort zone and slip, and out comes an answer that, you know, versus like you're rigid and you're this. That's what all of that is. That's why all of those have gimmicks, right? And so I think it could be applied to a dating thing. I was, you know, if you're going to be active, again, like, all right, like I'm a golf fanatic, right? We have a great indoor golf facility downtown Canton now called the 19th Hole, and those have become hugely popular for dating, right? Because it's activity based. Now you can get plenty of great drinks at the 19th Hole. Again, the menu is amazing. I really like the smash burger a lot. But like it's a very date centric place. Can be, right? And so I could see maybe, hey, we're going to do that. Maybe, well, we'd like to have a drink with it, or maybe you don't need it because you're doing something out of the ordinary. I don't think one system or the other is bad. It seems as if alcohol is kind of going through this thing now where I think a lot of people grew up in homes and watched their parents abuse alcohol and have decided that that may not be the life they want for themselves. I've said it a couple of times, like, go to your kid's house and open their fridge. Is the beer in their fridge the same as the beer is that you had in your fridge? A lot of times it is. I learned it by watching you, Dad. And I know that was a marijuana ad, but speaking of which, marijuana is all on the rise. You can pretty much vape anywhere you want. We're getting recreational sales. They say maybe by this summer. We'll see what happens there. People are eating edibles more than ever. Why do you think everybody's freaking out on airplanes? It's because everybody's on 700 milligrams before they fly. A little edible for my anxiety, and then they're stripping the center of the aisle of the plane. Yeah, so much for that anxiety reduction there, right? I mean, dude, marijuana, I've said it a million times. I wish I knew the campaign marijuana went on. Forever, it was the thing that made you a little nervous, made you a little paranoid and all this. It's like, no, now I use it to reduce these situations. Oh, is that right? Is that right? I feel like you use it because you like it. I feel like you use it because it gets you high and you just kind of enjoy that, right? Yeah, it kind of feels like that's what that is. Nah, man, medicine, dude. Woody Harrelson told me it's medicine. It's medicine. Okay, buddy. Okay. That seems, but I bet that's what a lot of that is that people, these kids, these young adults are probably ingesting more edible marijuana and going on their dates that way. Which makes sense. Like if you're going to a movie, I've never understood getting drunk going to the movies. I never understand that. I guess I could see why certain movie theaters will sell beer. It's like, well, if you're going to have one or two, some people do kind of like the taste and maybe knock the edge off. But like pre-gaming at a bar to go to a movie theater never made much sense to me. Now, I guess this is about personalities and what affects you versus what affects me, and, you know, how drugs affect, you know, people differently and the like. But if I get too drunk like that, you put me in a dark room and we're watching TV, I'm going right out. And I mean like right out. Like I'm going to pass out. Like that's not going to be a good thing. It's a similar reason why I don't like to get I don't like to get super drunk when I play golf. I get lazy. I'm like, clubs on there, let's just get hammered, right? And so I'll have a couple of drinks when I play. I try not to get drunk. The marijuana thing's a little bit different for me, right? I'm outdoors, you get a little high. It's like, dude, look at the trees, man. Yeah, dude, let me tell you, the earth ain't so bad, man. And there's a little bit of that stuff that can kind of happen. It's a little bit of a relaxant. But I'm going to guess that that's what a lot of this is. I wish they would have asked them that. 1 in 4 did say, look, I think dry dating is going to make going on dates harder. Yes. You can't tell me you're a generation full of people that are afraid of their own damn shadow, and yet you're going to tell me you're going to have an easier time getting to know somebody else without relaxing a little. That's just, I don't know how those two things are going to go along with one another. 89% of people, again, in these age groups, believe society should normalize dry dating. Well, I don't think it's abnormal. Like, I don't. Like, we've had, dude, first of all, why is everybody, like, pretend everything is new? Straight edge has been a term since, like, the early 80s, if not before that. We've always had these people that dry dated. We always had these people that didn't do drugs. We always had this. It's right. It's like we have an obsession now with taking something that's been around 30 years, repackaging it and going, look, the boomers were stupid and look how much smarter we are than they are. It's like, guys, you're literally just taking all the stuff we had given you. I'm not a boomer. And although if you're a younger person, anybody older than you is a boomer. And if you're older, anybody younger than you is a zennial. My parents were boomers. That's the actual generation of a boomer. My parents are boomers. Yeah, you know what? Let me look at this for you. 1946 to 1954 are the birth years of an actual boomer. That would make you, I believe, between 70 and 78. That's what that is. I'm a Gen Xer. Now, I've said for years the reason why Zennials refuse to call my generation Gen X and they call us boomers, you know why? Because our generation name sounds cool. It's Gen X. I mean, now that Elon wiped his ass with X, maybe not. Like, now that that's kind of happened, maybe not. But that was kind of always the thing. I was like, you're trying to call me a boomer, man, because boomer sounds bad. But Gen X is like, yeah, that one kind of sounded pretty cool. That one sounds, all right, skip that one. And we'll skip that one. Since we're called Zennials and Gen X sounds cooler, you're a boomer. We're putting you in that category so we can, just trash you. That's for sure part of that. And that's what you do to minimize people and their opinions. Right? That's exactly what you do. You create terms, you put them in groups, you go over there, you're on the wrong side of this, we're virtuous and you're old, and we're definitely an ageist society, for sure that's true. I don't think it's necessarily bad. I don't think what people, unless you have addiction issues, and plenty of people do, a hard, fast rule here is where I think a lot of people are going to make their mistake. Don't forget that you're not just going out on that date trying to get married. Like, you're not. It's part of it. You went out on that date on Friday or Saturday night to enjoy your damn self. And so at the end of the day, man, like, don't feel like, well, if I have 3 drinks, this means I got a problem. Like, just have a good time. Quit worrying about if you're dry dating, if you're wet dating, are we dry boning, or whatever the hell the thing is. Just relax and have a good time. Not really that hard, or at least it didn't used to be. Welcome back to the program on Rock 1069. We've been talking about dry dating. Now, I've been hearing about the younger generation drinking less and less for a while. I have this conversation with my brother a lot. He would like to buy another bar. And I tell him, like, why? Like, I was like, bro, I'm pretty sure it's over. Like, not right now, but like for the future, like it's, they seem to be drinking less. Like, I don't know. And every bar you go to now, it's all about the food. Oh, and we have drinks. Oh, by the way, don't forget, we sell beer too. It's like, it's all about the food. I was like, they're not even bars anymore, really. I mean, most bars you can bring your kids into now because they've all turned into restaurants because they needed to. Right? And so we're in an interesting time with that. And I was just kind of making the point where I think it's interesting that people who tell me they're a little anxious are resistant to maybe having one cocktail at dinner to relax a little bit to have a conversation. I don't, I know it sounds like I'm pushing alcohol on people and I'm not. It's, again, I don't think it's inherently bad. Like most things, it's all about your relationship with it and how you apply it and use it in your life. Once upon a time, I had made a huge mistake and had to look into my relationship with said thing and had to reevaluate that. Although, you know what? This is probably true too. If I was going to list the 10 worst things that ever happened in my life, I was drunk for all of them. That is true. Now, it could be a coincidence. Like, it could. You know what I mean? Because most great things that have happened to me in my life, I was high when they happened. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, I'm not sure that that's necessarily means it was the alcohol's fault. It still comes down to me, right? Now, I have a dry dater who's been texting me this morning throughout this subject matter, and has said, you know what we're doing now is we're having mocktails. And I didn't know much about this. Essentially, this is virgin versions of a cocktail. I shut this window down, and I shouldn't have. But I found some stuff here at the Food Network on mocktails. Like, you can have a non-alcoholic mojito. Without the rum, a mojito is still a fantastic beverage, apparently. A delicious combination of sweet, tangy, and herby flavors. This one is made especially for non-alcoholic consumption. The agave syrup gives the drink a little viscosity and the amber flavor you might miss from the rum. Nobody's looking for the flavor from the rum. We're looking from the numbness from the rum. You know what I mean? Dude, you're choking down most alcohol. It's the effect of the thing. This reminds me of vegans. Why is everything shaped like meat? Why do you try to put like grill marks on everything so it looks like it came off a grill like it's meat? Why is everything meat flavored? Just eat the meat, you insufferable douche! Right? Like, it's just that why is everything, hey, we don't want anything to do with this. Watch now as we shape everything to look just like all this. If you don't want anything to do with it, don't want anything to do with it. Completely walk away. Hold that 7-Up in your hand proudly. I don't understand. I really don't get that. Now, it's not awful or anything. I don't think we got to kick you off the planet because you want a mocktail. And I understand why back in the day, if somebody who had gone through like AA would get like a cocktail glass and they'd get like, seltzer and maybe put a lime in it so it looked like a mixed drink. I've done that plenty of times while hosting events. Because people are like, dude, have a drink. Let's get a drink. It's like, well, dude, I got to drive home in like 20 minutes. So, like, I'm not, yeah, man, I got this. I'm kind of good. Like, I have faked cocktailed it plenty of times. And there is a little bit, like, if you're the one person not drinking in a drinking situation, it can feel a little like, geez, all right, man, relax. You guys, I don't have to be drunk for you to enjoy your drinks. What the hell? That's a little bit of a different situation than if you're out on a date with somebody. And I am confused why the generation that thinks going to dinner is too long for a date, why you wouldn't want to maybe have a couple of drinks. Ladies, you've been on plenty of dates with guys who all think they're funny, right? And you sat there and thought to yourself, oh my God, this idiot actually thinks I want to be hearing this. This is terrible. Does he not get it? Jesus, I've read the menu for a 5th time. Doesn't he understand I'm not interested in this? You start having 1 or 2 more drinks. It's like, all right, I know I'm not going to bed with this fat, balding loser, but at least I can make it through these stories for the 5th time tonight, right? Like, there's at least a little bit of that. I can't believe the generation that's scared to date one another, nervous to be outside of their homes, is looking at alcohol like, oh no, keep it away from me. And I'm getting this text message. Can I have a virgin Jack and Coke? Yeah, I think that's from a movie, right? Which this has nothing to do with anything. All right? But as a former bartender, if you think you're dumb, I'm going to tell you this story, and you're going to feel so much better about your place in life. I swear to God this is true. I was training a bartender once, and she had lied about how much experience she had behind a bar. Which, by the way, anybody who is served, anybody who's a bartender, it's going to take less than 5 minutes to find out. Hey, cut this fruit for me. And when you can't do it, you've never worked at a bar and you're like, get the hell out of here, right? And like, we'll kick you right out from behind the bar. I was training a bartender one time, and I swear to God, she tapped me on the shoulder. And she asked me how to make a Jack. I turned to her and I was like, honey, most the drinks, like the combination of the ingredients is in the damn name, lady. Like, are you, and I thought she was messing with me. And she's like, well, I don't know. I've never had it. I thought maybe something else went in it, you know, because like there's a lot of recipes. And I was like, all right, that almost makes sense. But like it is a Jack and Coke. That's what goes in that. Like that. And so like that's how crazy or foolish or I guess